find my work in the law books.
I can find your work?
Yeah.
What do you mean your work?
My work, my legal briefs, the Supreme Court opinions that was based on my legal briefs, the arguments that I put before the court.
The arguments that you put before the court changed the laws?
Yeah.
So they have your case is one of the cases that changed the law?
Yeah. I got 20-something people released from prison while I was there. I was a paralegal, and all this is documented. The prison,
You got 20-something people?
Yeah.
Released?
Yeah.
Representing them?
Yeah. Directly and indirectly. Some of the people I was actually in the prison, I did the legal work for them, and other people got released based on the work that I did.
Based on that new law?
Yeah.
What was this new law?
It was the jury instructions, the flaw in the jury instructions on the kingpin crime. The jury instructions. See, anytime, this is what happened. After a trial is over with, the judge has to give the jury instructions on each charge. He has to explain to the jury what the charge means and what the elements for those charges are, so that the jury can find whether or not the elements existed in the case, or if the prosecutor proved that those elements existed in the case.
Right.
When I did the research on the law, and I found out what the legislative intent was when they made the law, I realized what other lawyers never realized, that the instructions regarding the law was flawed. It didn't comport to the legislative intent.
Now, why do you say that?
Because there's one of the elements on being a kingpin is your position in an organization. You have to access a certain position in an organization. And the flaw in organizations is that you have different leaders. A lieutenant is a leader. A captain is a leader. And the actual leader of the whole organization is a leader. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So the jury instructions actually did not define the difference between the tiers, the level of leaders, as opposed to the true kingpin. And the issue was, and it doesn't, and what jury instructions is this, the key thing about jury instructions is that it doesn't matter how guilty you are. If a jury instruction is flawed...
How do you spell that?
J-U-R-Y.
Oh, jury.
Jury, yeah.
Okay. I thought you said Julian. Okay, jury instruction. Okay.
Yeah, jury.
Okay.
If a jury instruction is flawed, the conviction has to be thrown out. And the judge said it when the judge said there was enough evidence that I was a kingpin. The evidence was overwhelming. But because the jury instruction was flawed and it did not comport to the legislative intent, they had to throw my kingpin conviction out.
Because that didn't mean you were kingpin. I don't understand why they had to throw it out.
Because I was. In other words, what was said. The law is a funny thing. The law says this: case law, not statutory law, but case law that the actual courts make. Case law says that it doesn't matter how guilty a person is, if the jury is not explained correctly about a particular law, or a particular crime, there is no way to tell whether they actually did find the person guilty based on correct reasoning. I'll give you an example. I'm going to show you something. Let's say I gave you instructions on how to drive a car, right? And you get in, but the instructions that I give you is not correct. But still, at the same time, you get in that car and you make it from point A to point Z. That doesn't mean that when you made it to point A and point Z that you abided by all the laws. That means that you may have gotten lucky. You see what I'm saying? So only if I explained everything to you properly, when a person can tell, viewing all of that, whether you did everything correct. And they look at the crimes the same way. Even though a jury may find a person guilty of a crime, if that crime is not explained to them correctly, there's no way to tell whether or not their verdict was based on a correct understanding of the law.
So your charge of kingpin wasn't correct because
the judge said I was guilty. The way the court looks at it is like this.